Are we sitting comfortably? Because I have a bedtime story for you. Once upon a time there was a race of aliens called the Equations from the planet Equash. Now these guys were approaching science like a boomer approaches their iPhone, and that they held it at arm's length and poked at it endlessly without any result and then said, "I don't do computers." Are you listening, Grandma? These photos you took from an actual camera in 1987 won't automatically be on your phone for you to prod at like a 3-year-old at a toy shop window. Anywho, needless to say, the Planet Equash was going nowhere fast, until they realised they understood the maths, but just not the science. So they forgot about the science and did rather well in the end. So if you can't visualise what's going on, all is not lost. Just use the equations, and if you can visualise it, you can work out the maths yourself. If you are driving to Budapest to see Ollie Mars but want to get there in half the time to catch the opening act Gwar, then you need to go twice as fast. This kind of thing is called proportionality, not to be confused with amateur proportionality. The ancient Greeks did this all the time. What happens if I double something? They love doubling and halving things. This bottle of wine is heavy. What if it's twice as big? Wow, it's twice as heavy. What if I drink half of it? Wow, it's now half as heavy. Science! The guy who came up with a more practical way of doing things was part-time 80s hip-hop DJ Robert Record, who invented the equal sign. A fine Welshman and all-round genius. He became a doctor to the king, and they even put him in charge of the Royal Mint, where he literally made all the money. He was also the first person to write his textbooks in English, rather than Latin. Thanks, Bob. That's a help. Sorry, fresh. So, MC Robert Record, how do we use equations? Well, you take something you have on the right and something you want on the left. Put letters in there first, then replace them with the numbers you have. One side always equals the other. But what if I have the number on the left but want the one on the right? Well, sucks to be you, there's nothing you can do about it, sorry. No, wait, it can be done. Move the letter from one side to the other however you like, but just do the opposite thing to it. Minus becomes plus, plus becomes minus, multiply becomes divide, etc. Bloody hell, MC Bob, you are a genius. Some people like to use triangles, but I had a bad experience in Egypt once that I don't want to get into, so I'll leave this here. Moving on. MC Bob, what else did you get up to? You haven't, I don't know, made an enemy of the most powerful man in the country, have you? Oh, you have. You were the personal doctor to King Edward, but when there was a rebellion, you stopped the guy who went to sort it out because he didn't have the correct paperwork. And this guy was the king's cousin. Okay, so you got sacked and put in charge of mining in Ireland, but they never paid you the £1,000 they owed you for that. So you've learnt your lesson now, right? No, the king's cousin then got promoted to be really powerful, and you thought it'd be a good idea, now that you're a lowly servant, to charge him with misconduct in the courts, and you lost, and so you got sued, and now you owe them £1,000, the exact amount you were owed by the king, who never paid you, so you went to jail and you died. And that, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary persons, is the origin of the phrase, "You, sir, had better check yourself before you Robert Record yourself."